Every time the drug boss twisted open a bottle, he quietly poured the sweetener onto a small plate. While waiting for the food, he suddenly stood up, opened the door, and walked out. The country brothers rushed to open the window, staring at his back with confused faces. The crime boss took Frank's drugs, but Frank never saw a single dollar. When Frank confronted him, the boss only laughed with contempt. Frank pulled his gun, loaded it, and pressed it against the boss. The arrogant boss even mocked that Frank would never shoot. The next second, Frank pulled the trigger and killed him. The boss had once demanded a 20% protection fee. Frank returned the container to him, then took back the cash he had paid for the drugs. After that, Frank calmly turned around. The five brothers all showed shocked expressions. Frank walked back to the restaurant without panic and continued assigning the next job to his crew. It turned out Frank planned to expand his drug operation and lead these five brothers toward a better life. A new major drug kingpin was about to rise in America. Frank had once been the driver for Harlem boss Bumpy. He worked by Bumpy's side for 15 years, learning every day how the world really worked. Until one day, Bumpy suddenly died of a heart attack. After ruling Harlem for more than 40 years, he was remembered as a kind and generous man. Few could imagine that at his funeral, crime bosses from every district would show up. Even powerful figures from politics attended. Even the mayor of New York came dressed in black. Only Frank sat quietly in the corner, full of sorrow. At that moment, John put down his drink. When he tried to smoke, he realized his lighter was gone. Seeing this, Frank stepped behind him, took out a handkerchief, lifted the glass, and wiped the table dry. Under John's confused gaze, he placed the glass neatly back on the coaster, then glanced at John and walked away. Suddenly, John called out to Frank and asked him to bring back a lighter, but Frank did not follow his order. Instead, he squatted down to comfort a frightened dog. The onlookers would soon leave the house. Frank was always thinking about Bumpy's interests, and Bumpy had asked his men to look after Frank. Frank knew many people still owed Bumpy money, so he planned to help recover the cash. The men admired Frank for his courage. Without protection, Frank needed to secure his position. He first went to Bumpy's close friend, sold him 1 kilogram of product as startup capital. Then he summoned his country relatives and prepared to build his own underground empire. He first brought his cousins to a drug lab, where a woman injected them with chemicals, binding the brothers to him forever. But the peace did not last long. Gang boss John stormed into the neighborhood. It was obvious he came to collect protection money with Bumpy gone. No one was left to control 116th Street. John took over the area in just one day. Frank warned John about breaking the rules. John replied that Bumpy was dead. Frank said nothing in response. He simply handed over the demanded 20% fee, then left the restaurant with his men. But the hatred between them grew after these encounters. Frank left the restaurant and went to a phone booth. Calling back to his hometown, his country cousins all knew Frank was doing well. When they heard it was his call, they were filled with excitement. Frank told them to bring every relative and come visit him at his home.